Hiding over here, I know you can't tell, is Flint, our youngest little Hans macaw who is available. But today, what the poop are you telling me is our video. Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of The Parrot Bond. My parrots are my bliss. I love my parrots. My mission is to help you have a more blissful bond with your parrots and to try not to make videos when airplanes are flying overhead, but it happens. This season, to help support my flock and because I love doing it, I have some babies that are available. Flint is one of them. Although Flint does have a little issue with his feet, so he will be discounted. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he can perch. He does have a little issue. Anyway, today though, I am talking to you about poop. At the end of the video, I will tell you about a few other birds that are available who are perfectly healthy in any way I can see. And one way is by looking at their poop. Interestingly enough, guys, when you look at parrot poop, babies have more runny poop, which should not be confused with diarrhea because they're having baby food. They have runnier poop. Interesting, right? I think so. When you have parrots, you kind of get into parrot poop. Why? And why is this video? What the poop are you telling me? Because this is one of the best ways to monitor your parrot's health. It really is a fantastic indicator of something being off because it's a constant measure of what's on the inside, isn't it? Now, poop is confusing, and the reason it's confusing is because it has a few basic rules to it and it has several exceptions. For example, I'm going to start with some of the exceptions. If your parrot's poop is purple or a beet colored, kind of like bloody red, if it's purple or red but you fed them something purple like a purple sweet potato, beets, then don't freak out. Your parrot's poop should not be red or purple. If there's blood, that's really bad news, but actually the poop generally at that point is kind of black. But colored poop, orange, because you gave them a lot of carrots, orange poop doesn't happen. When you give them orange carrots, of course it happens. And these are the exceptions to poop. So what I'm going to tell you about poop is, number one, the best rule of thumb is what the poop? Keep watching your parrot's poop. When you keep watching your parrot's poop, you kind of get to see what's normal poop. That's what you wanted to know. You get to know what their morning greeting is, what their normal behavior is, and what their normal poop looks like. I know. The levels of parroting are just endless, right? And think about it. A dog, they go for a walk. You don't measure their poop. You don't watch their poop. I mean, maybe you do because you pick it up, but that's just not dogness. Cats go in the box. You just don't watch the poop. Parrots, you watch their poop. So now number one, kind of get to know what's regular for them. Now, the other thing I want you to keep in mind in what's regular, in addition to colored foods like carrots, will change the color of their poop. And by the way, if you feed them pellets, they'll have one color of poop. You'll see my parrots, the few poop samples I will show you are going to be colorful, or the color of parrot poop. If you feed them colored parrot food, this is one reason I don't like colored pellets. It comes out in their poop. So if your parrot has a rainbow of poop colors and their pellets are different colors, don't freak out. It's food coloring. No, I don't think. Maybe I'll say this. No, my parrots shouldn't have food dyed poop. I don't think. I want them to have nutritious food, not color. But anyway, the other thing I want you to remember is when a parrot poops, like, thank goodness Flint isn't pooping on me right now, but if Flint were to poop right now, it would look one way. In an hour or two, it's going to look different, and it's going to look darker and blacker. So if you come back in an hour or two and your parrot has pooped and you're like, oh my God, it's dry and black, please go, you know what? I cannot measure this. This is not normal poop. This is old dry. So back again, I used to be a teacher. We repeat things. Some people say like, you repeat things. I'm like, yeah, I repeat the important things. You need to know what regular is for your parrot. Number one, if they eat different foods, it'll affect the color, so don't freak out about that. You want to watch what's normal, average, not like one poop. Number two, if they eat pellets, their poop is going to be different than a non-pellet eater. And number three, if they have colored pellets, it's going to be more colorful. So that's why we want like the normal poop. And normal means like what you normally feed them, what their poop normally looks like. Now, given that, when we look at poop and we say, what the poop is this telling me? We want to look for what's in the poop and the consistency of it. When we look for what's in the poop, we're looking at three things. We're looking at urine, urates, and poop. Because they come like this, almost like a braid, all together. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell, but we're looking at one thing. When we look at one thing, I'm going to show you one of the most perfect parrot poops. I love babies. They have really good parrot poops. I know, right? Not the kind of thing you'd say, not probably how you want to think of me. Oh, Kaylin from Parrot Bliss, she likes perfect parrot poop. I do, because that means I have a healthy parrot, but there you have it. Okay, what we're looking at in these three things is we're looking at some urine, we're looking at some urates. The urates are going to be white and chalky. So I want you to think of the urates as like kind of a little bit like watery toothpaste, white toothpaste. And number three, the poop. Now, when the poop is perfect, the poop itself looks like, what are you doing? Look at this. He's like either hiding from the airplane or cuddling into me. Hi, sweetie. Are you scared of the airplane? It's okay. Oh, look at this little boy. I don't know if he's a boy or a girl. But interestingly enough, Hans macaws, I am told by breeders who know, Hans macaws are generally boys. It's this wonky thing with parrots. Some species, like for example, golden conures, tend to have females. Hans macaws tend to have males. Blue-throated conures tend to have males. So then within that species, what's kind of interesting is that makes the other one easier to sell because there's more of them, but the gender that doesn't hatch as often is more coveted by the breeders because of course you need both genders. So interesting little tidbit for you as we look at this baby. Okay, so we've got the urates, which you can think of it as water, and if you're wearing a shirt and your parrot poops on you, it'll just get your shirt wet. The urates will stain it kind of like a chalky white, and then the poop, if it's perfect, it's kind of like a snake. In other words, it's a nicely formed tube. It'll be well, if it's on your shirt and if it falls, you know, if you've got a nice distance in your cage from where your parrot likes to hang out to the bottom, by the time it falls, it's not going to necessarily maintain that beautiful shape. So you won't necessarily see that. As a matter of fact, most of the time what you're going to see is something a little different. And a lot of times it really just looks like a blob of poop, right? Where you maybe you see the little white urates, maybe you don't, that kind of thing. So that's why it's really good to just, I know, but every morning when you say, hello baby, or whatever you say to your parrot, you should also look at their poop. Especially in the morning, they're gonna poop. So I had someone say that they take, I think they're a brown-bellied parrot. That would be an African parrot, great parrot. The African parrots are all calm and chill and awesome, but not always cute and cuddly. This is cuddly. So they take their parrot and they put it on a perch, and she does like her good morning, hello sweetie, that kind of thing. And this is like the poop perch, so that the parrot perches because they do poop first thing, and they love to poop when they first come out of their cage because then they're not soiling their cage. So they don't care if you have to clean it. So then, you know, the parrot poops on the poop perch, and then she'll take him somewhere else. But that's a great opportunity to see what normal poop for your parrot is every morning, and it's fresh. It's clean. It doesn't have whatever other debris might be at the bottom of the cage. Toy debris, seed debris, pellet debris. One of the pictures I'm going to show you has some pellets in it, not because I put poop in their pellets, but because as they're eating and they drop everything, normal, you know, it gets into their poop. So then you don't have to worry that there's food in their poop that fell, right? You know, you have to be able to distinguish, and this is why you want to check every day, and this is why a poop perch is actually a fabulous thing. On that poop perch, there's no debris to contaminate the poop. So like, if you do see seeds, undigested food in that poop, like I saw when I brought Carmen home, and I'll put a link there to that video, then you don't freak out, but you do recognize the warning signs that are going, warning, warning, go to the vet, because undigested food is very dangerous for a parrot. You know, I hope that if you see that your parrot is exceedingly old and has had a great life and it's okay. I mean, you know, we all go at some point, but you don't want it in a young parrot. You don't want it in what should be a healthy parrot, because undigested food means that they're not able to absorb things. There's something going on. And I wrote an article about that in my Parrot Gazette, which is my newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'll put the link in here. It's a free newsletter where my daughter and I write articles every 2 times a month to try to help you get to know parrots better and have a more blissful bond. But in that article, I talked about some of the things it can be. It can be something nasty and, you know, or it can be, in Carmen's case, it was a gastric yeast infection, GYI, which meant that she has too much bad yeast in her system. And so that's not letting her digest her food. But the doctor was like, you know, here's my magic potion. And we haven't seen more undigested food. So she's like, look, because we did a chemistry on her, she's like, her organs look great, the rest of the culture looks great. So just some yeast, and actually she might have had a little, what's it called? A little E. coli. But now it should all be gone. Hopefully Carmen's feeling better now. She's just having to adjust because there's birds here. I think there's more than she was used to. She had a mate. Anyway, watch the video on Carmen and you'll hear all about that if you're interested in that. Carmen is our new golden conure that someone asked us to take for them. And of course I love goldens, and I was like, you know, I think that Binks and Tico could do very well with her. So that, an explanation as to Carmen's poop. It's significant. It's really significant because, like I said, guys, when you see poop that is not normal, then it's time to really call the vet. Now, I know this is a little weird, and your friends, if they ever get a hold of your phone and your photos, they're going to be like, what the hell's wrong with you? But do it. Take pictures of normal. I would take several pictures, maybe take a picture every day. The next time you go to the vet, show it to the vet. Say, you know, I'm trying to get to really know what the poop's going on here, and I'm trying to establish a baseline for normal for my bird. Your vet should, on the annual exam, frankly, look at their poop, like do a sample, take a sample and do a culture to know that everything's good. But they should be able to look at the pictures, and between the work they do, if they do a chemistry and that poop, gram stain and culture, they should be able to go, you know what, the photos look good, but on top of that, the test came back, everything's good. You have a really good sample of normal in those 7 photos. Then when you're like, that poop looks funny, doesn't it? Do you think that poop looks funny? Look, it's a little like, instead of the snake, like it's like chunky. Is it funny? Is it weird? Because this is exactly what happens. At least it happens to me. I'm like, oh, that poop's purple. And then my daughter's like, hello, you fed them whatever purple food, you know, purple carrots. Hello, mom, you fed them sweet potatoes or whatever. You know, those are like my 2 go-to examples, right? But it happens. So then you have things to compare to. And Also, you know, guys, another thing that happens is one time I went into my vet and I'm like, you know what? There's green in the urates. That's not supposed to happen, right? That's like a kidney problem. Yes, it very well could be. My vet, she's so experienced. She's like, let's not freak out. Let's test it. Let's look at it, because sometimes the green poop kind of stains the green urates. I mean, obviously, right? The colors affect one another. It happens. And she's like, no, that one was fine. No need to worry. So that's why I really am starting by emphasizing with you to know what's normal, because some things aren't necessarily normal, but until you know your parrot's poop really good and you have those pictures you can look back on, you're not going to really know. Also, I know this sounds silly, but the color of poop, because it does affect the parrot's poop, you know, the poop is allowed to be brown or green, generally speaking, and then any other colors you should freak out, unless, right? I mean, this is how the rules go. So this way, like, if you're like, well, it's really light green, that's a sign. That's something that's a little off. It's really dark. Is it black? Kaylin said black was bad. You know, again, did you walk away? Did it dry out? You know, I want you to just have what's normal for your parrot. This one time, I was visiting one of my clients who often gets parrotlets from me, and I was like, oh my God, your African gray is so thin. Have you guys tested it? I'm freaking out. That's like not normal. Because like I could see the gray's keel bone, and they're like, oh yeah, tested it 100 times. There's nothing wrong with this bird. He's just thin. So your bird's normal. I mean, it's just like us. What I can eat isn't necessarily what someone else can eat. I can do cheese. One of my best friends cannot do cheese. Parrots are the same way. So back to normal. Get to know the normal. But generally speaking, if your parrots have hopefully a really well balanced diet between those vegetables, some strong pellet component, that should be the basic part for, you know, to really balance them out, and then a small amount of whatever's appropriate. Smaller birds, it's going to be parakeet seeds. Medium-sized birds or conures, it's going to be a small amount of conure seeds, or the nut eaters, those nuts that they should be getting every day. If your parrot has a good balanced diet, generally speaking, you should be living in that green-brown poop colors. I've really only seen urates be white or like green, you know, is going to be a little problematic. So, and the urine, again, I've really only seen clear, or it can get a little white from the urates, or it can get a little green from the poop. But those are kind of the colors you're after, unless your normal's different. And then if it varies, something might be right off unless you've had different food. And again, if you are feeding your parrot baby formula, this all changes, because then you're not going to have a solid of food. If your bird's on medication, anything like that, of course, as well. So watch your parrot's poop. It makes all the difference. It can help you catch things. The other, you know what, I'm going to give you a couple other things to watch so that you can catch your parrot. When they are breathing, do you see how Flint's tail, and of course his tail's right up next to me, but I don't think it would matter. Oh, there we go. Do you see how his tail doesn't really move? His tail is pretty darn still. And that's because he's not having a respiratory issue where he breathes and you know how when you're all stuffed up, it's like you have to take those heavy breaths and it really moves your tail. That would be an indication. The other thing I like to do is I put my ear up to my bird's beak just to see if I hear a raspy breath. Or if I kind of can't hear anything, I don't want to hear anything. You watch their eyes, you watch their, for us it would be, you know, mucus coming out. For them, of course, it's the nares. You look at their mouth. If you could smell their breath, it's not like a dog. I love dogs. Dogs have, I mean, they're notorious, right, for having bad breath. Your parrot should not have bad breath. Some species of parrots have a musty odor on their body, so that would be normal. I'm talking about like a stinky breath. So watch those things, because that will help you know. And if you have a blissful bond and this here is one of your best friends, you want your best friend to be a companion, because people say parrots live for 50 to 100 years, and I say that's poopy, because it is not true in the sense that humans do too. Humans live 50 to 100 years, except for all the ones that die before that, for one of 1,000 different reasons. Sometimes it's health, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's an accident, sometimes it's whatever. You know, how many humans live to 100? And I think that that can clue you in as to how many parrots really will. So watch your parrot's health, because your parrot is not necessarily and automatically going to live to the longest life expectancy. But if you are watching their poop and you're like, what the poop? You are far more likely to hit that life expectancy, because you're far more likely like that to catch things. Don't forget, parrots like to hide their illness. And so you might see their tail moving, but basically they're going to fluff up and they're going to look like they're not losing weight. They're going to try to act like everything's fine. And it's hard for me to catch. And I like keep this eagle eye on my birds, because I'm like, you guys know I'm all about my birds. So get to know their poop. I know, take pictures, I know. But this is hopefully why you enjoy watching my channel. If you're new to my channel, I hope this isn't your first video, because you're going to be like, she's just all about poop. I swear, I'm all about a lot of other things. I have over 22 species of parrots. I love my parrots, and I have learned over the years about a lot of different species, which is why right now I'm so enjoying hand raising some. If you are looking for a baby blue-headed macaw or kaiques, I have several kaiques available right now. I also have a couple blue crown conures, which I'm really excited about. And I could probably sell my friends Quakers. So give me a call, contact me on the Instagram Messenger is best. My website is awesome too. If you go under available-parrots, there's a number you can text me at, and I'll talk to you and see you in the next video, which won't be poopy at all, I promise. Be sure to give Flint and I one of these, and I'll catch you next time.